We are live on YouTube. Welcome to Island Moon Live.
We got shade and we got...
We are going to be live on the radio in about 4 minutes. Jeff Coyne, Jay Gardner, Dale Rankin, and my name is Jacob Oggs. We'll run around. I'll just set some mics up real quick. Yeah. How you sound, Jeff?
Oh, I'm hearing you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You hear
Yeah,
me?
remember, you got to eat the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta
and
get.
if you grab the mic stand, if it'll ground out if you get the top part.
Oh, okay.
You can,
other than that,
you
sound
can tilt
good?
it towards you a little bit.
Yeah, lean it down if you need.
Yeah, there you
There
go.
we go. That better?
Yeah, write it that way.
Cool.
You don't have to do
Yeah.
this or do
Yeah.
something weird. to
Sit
just
back there
get
and
into it.
scream. Awesome. And hello to everybody watching already on YouTube or people watching later. Apparently, there's some internet outages going on around the island and the bluff and potentially nationwide.
So
Uh,
that sounds like a hack.
yeah. War
So,
is hell, man. War is hell.
So the YouTube signal is going out through.
Starlink.
as well, yeah.
YouTube, YouTube and their radio station, which is going loud and clear. So,
Ah, yes.
So yesterday I'm looking at the, getting ready, just about ready to let the paper go, and I'm just happened to go check the Nueces Appraisal District website to see, because that land over there that Gabi sold over there by Packery, that 10 acres.
I saw
Up
that.
the-
And
up
I
the
kept
platted
waiting to
sand
see
dollar.
who bought it because she signed a non-disclosure. She couldn't
Yeah.
tell me. And it's AEP. So I called Omar. I said, what you guys are going to do? No, they're going to put in a substation.
Right in prime
Well,
real estate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it, right along 361. Well, they may need to. So
Yeah.
it depends on
Well, apparently those
Lake
guys,
Padre because
I
that's
heard
right
last
there.
night, the guys
Speedy stop.
that filed the PUD for the 80 acres over there in the corner on the other
Yeah.
side.
What was that? DCCM.
Yeah, apparently it's the Day family out of California, and they're moving ahead. They're gonna go ahead and they're serious about putting something in there. Is what I'm told.
Is that what triggered the AEP upgrades? Or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Makes me think.
I don't think so.
I mean, it could be that. It could be Whitecap too, because
It's-
you
yeah,
had
it's
600
Whitecap.
houses.
Yeah, no,
you're gonna
yeah.
need infrastructure.
We're, yeah,
they told
we're
them,
behind.
Dale,
Yeah.
that current substation, after about phase 2, they'd be maxed out.
That
on
makes
Whitecap,
sense.
So they got to upgrade.
So if
somewhere.
anything goes in at Lake Padre, then you got that, and
And you got
Yeah.
the substation right there by Island Italian, the old Island Italian, that
so are
they've
they
got to upgrade
expanding
too.
that still?
They're expanding
This
that
doesn't
one.
replace that.
No,
apparently
Both
not.
of them, wow.
I don't know.
No.
And then if you know over on around Sand Dollar, if they ever start developing in there, that's going to need power. So I can see.
Waiting
and-
on the ball to drop. A data center's coming here.
yeah,
right.
the data center on 361.
Yeah.
Well,
Some
they're
good
laying the
use for that
water
land.
lines south too, down SPID, south to Whitecap,
Right.
and they're staging. I was driving over there by Ridley's, and there's a big pile of water pipe about that big around.
Yeah.
And so I called.
16, yeah.
second. Let's see.
And then we're also doing water line. Pump transfer station at Coral Vine. They're going to do another one across from the river. Redundancy. You only got one right now. I thought we had two. Well, it's old and small. The original one.
Quick weather update, then we're on.
Where's your bumper music?
Can't hear it.
Mainly clear skies. High humidity tonight.
Shocker.
Okay, here we go. And welcome aboard. This is Island Moon Live. on News Talk KUYS 1440 AM Corpus Christi 98.7 FM. My name is Jacob Boggs. We've got Jay Gardner, Dale Rankin, and Jeff Coim joining me this morning. We are live at our Waterline studio here at Doc's Seafood and Steaks.
We're back home after being on the road last week.
Yeah, that was a long, arduous tour. Went up to Port A and hung out with some friends at the on the third floor of the Sip Yard. It's a beautiful place. I highly recommend getting out to get it. There's a lot going on if you want to follow along with what we're talking about. You can just go to islandmoon.com where issue 1156 is out. We talk about things going on Padre Island, Port Aransas, Flower Bluff, and the Coastal Bend, as well as things that are going on in the city. Speaking of a lot of things going on in the city, we have two guys from LJA Engineering here, Jay and Jeff. And you guys have been quite the team, heading up a lot of things going on the island as far as development, things even starting with the Whitecap MPI project.
That was the big news this week at the ISAC meeting is the study that you guys did on it was three elements, I think, right? It was the width of the opening over at where the old Seagate was located, and it was what the optimal width for that, the size of the culverts at underneath Encantada were the main two things.
Jeff,
so you wrote the report, Jeff. So bring us up to speed on what the scope of it was and what were the findings.
Okay, sure. So, what they tasked us with was Encantada. They wanted to study the size of opening that would most beneficially help water quality via circulation and also possibly reduce velocities, right, in some of those hot zone canals.
This was the city that...
Right, the city hired us to do this one,
Yeah.
That's correct. So we studied those various options at Encantada, but also we all thought it'd be pretty cool to let's take a look at what Packery Channel looks like. If you narrow down that opening there, does that slow things down
Right.
Well,
in the overall canal system?
It was small to begin with in 2022 when we had the old Seagate up. Before that, how long was the old Seagate there, Dale?
It was there since the
70s?
60s or 70s,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I remember at one point, Dr. Brian Gully joining us as well this morning. Good morning, Doc. How's it going?
Good morning. Yeah, that thing
Okay.
was there long enough to rust apart.
Yeah. So, but that opening
More than a week.
So that opening was how big?
50 feet.
50 feet. And now, once it was removed, the current distance is what?
Then it went
It's-
to 85,
yeah,
and then now it's 170.
It was
85
permitted
now,
to
170.
85, and then I think they built it to 170, which they then got their permit updated to do that.
Okay.
So that's where it sits right now.
And so tell us about the reduction of flow in between
So
those,
really,
what the study
when you
finding was.
squeeze it back down from 170 to 50, you only drop, and we're talking about storm velocities.
Okay.
When a storm's pushing through there, you're only going to drop about 15%.
And that doesn't matter. It depends on any direction the storm's coming.
Right,
That's just
right,
water
right.
movement. Okay.
Right,
I know
exactly.
that was one of the questions that people had was, okay, during Alberto, the one that caused the most damage because of water moving through the canals, there was only one end of the canal open for the connection between, aside from Packery Channel coming to the ICW, was through the neighborhood going underneath the Don Patricio Causeway. Around the corner there was where the storm damage was. Is there how fast did the water move?
That's the idea. Go back and finish the Seagate. So if they had put the Seagate back in, the 15%, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze on that.
Yeah, it's
right?
really not.
Right.
I mean, when we think about 15% reduction, that's not a whole lot. And with what they're planning in Lake Padre, the big boats and things like that, it'd become a navigational hazard if you were trying to go back down
Yeah.
to that width.
50
so-
feet just wouldn't work.
No, 50 feet wouldn't
And
work.
the current's
then,
moving faster there, so you're going to try and navigate a boat now through a narrow passage with a little current in it.
What could possibly
tough.
go wrong?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so the next width that was studied was 85.
At 85, and it was even worse. It was only like 5% reduction.
Yeah. So
Really not worth
That's
it.
not worth it.
food for thought. When there was
Putting a Seagate back in.
Yeah. When there was only one opening in the canals, I had a buddy of mine was checking everything out. He was driving back through there, and the current was moving, coming from behind him, and it was whipping. So he had to keep the boat in drive to steer through, So he just didn't steer over and hit the bulkhead. And this guy runs out on his dock and he's like, "Hey, slow down!" And the guy's like, "I'm just idling," you know.
Yeah.
But the
Push it
water
through
was
there,
moving
but-
so fast when he was going with it because there was only one entrance. Now,
And there with it.
now, to open it up at Commodores on the top and then at Encantada on the bottom, you had a lot of involvement with this as far as the
Oh.
culverts in Encantada. How many
been-
options did you review on that?
Yeah, we reviewed 5, I think, total. You know, one was leaving the existing there, which is 236s. They're silted up, so that doesn't help.
Those
But
are two
opening
round
those up-
culverts.
Right, 2 round culverts. Yeah, so Jay's got the
yeah,
study.
we got numbers right here.
Exactly.
See if they can dive into that table, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's just straight numbers.
No, but then we went into box culvert options. So up from a 6x6, 9x9, and even a 12-foot wide, 6-foot tall, and then 2 versions of that. So 2 12x6s.
Okay, and that would be big enough so you can get under it in a kayak, right?
No.
No.
Or
So
where-
we had meetings with the
Yeah.
city and POA, and everybody was really, they just want the circulation. They said there's really no need. We don't need to make this
So the
project.
POA hates kayakers. You heard it here
No,
first,
well-
people. No,
well,
we're joking.
Jeff
We're
also did the study for the TERS on the size of that, whether putting in a bridge, putting in
Yeah.
box
Yeah, that
culverts.
came
and-
before all this, and the bridge was out.
You can't-
there's
because there's a
driveways
private
too
drive right
close.
there.
Yeah,
and
you'd have to
the-
acquire property. And
The other thing would be, and I think y'all said this before, when you were looking at the different options for the culverts, if you go too high, you have no visibility
right.
from that jump
Yeah,
getting
In a-
over there.
in
And
a
a
school
school right
zone.
there, church.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
exactly.
You get into issues there. So
Yeah.
when it comes to the width of where the Seagate is located, basically we're going to stay at 170 feet.
right.
And building a Seagate across 170 foot width was, we don't know what the cost is, but it's going to be more than $5.
and it's not worth it is not worth the flow.
Yeah,
Right.
it would
Well,
be high.
something you said earlier makes a lot of sense. Is just realizing that the juice isn't worth the squeeze on a lot of these projects. I had offered my consulting, Og Services consulting, my services, call it, to the city for free, and just said, you know what? If the POA was so concerned about just having a Seagate in place, they're using sand dams right now. If we have a big storm coming, it would probably be fast enough to get an excavator out there and just dump sand in the canal real quick and let it go. You know, it'll probably naturally break
it's-
free anyway, and they'll save the city
Where
millions.
it
And there you go.
landed is the next, and it was talked about at this came up at the ISAC meeting the other night, which Brian chaired. And so the talk for the last 2 years or so has been from the POA side. We need to leave the canals closed until we get a Seagate. Well, after this study, a Seagate I think is off the table. So the question then is, what comes next? And the talk turned to inflatable vinyl bags that you would
Aqua
put
barriers.
You would put in the canals.
And fill with water.
A
But you,
geotube.
but you would not put
Something like that,
those
yeah.
Okay.
in where the old Seagate was located.
No.
I don't think so. That
It'd be
opening's
too
too wide.
big an
right?
opening. You got to go to a smaller choke point.
And so
Right.
the
And
question,
even then, we talked about that. I was concerned
Go
about the
around it,
the
yeah.
law of unintended consequences.
Sure.
You're talking about things with hundreds and maybe thousands of tons. You're going to have to tie it to something, and the forces against it in a storm surge,
Right.
against something that big with the forces behind it. Hell, it could damage.
Where did the bridge go?
Support of the bridge.
yeah,
or
right.
something.
It's piled
That's
up.
the
It's piled up against the road down at Encantada.
And if it got and if it got
jeez.
loose, what's it going to do when it gets pushed by all this water?
Take out everything.
Well, the
behind it.
question
Yeah.
was
Unless
so.
it pops.
So the question was put to Jeff Edmonds, the city chief engineer, at the ISAC meeting. What is the city going to do about helping water flow through the canals? And the answer was potentially putting these water barriers at the bridges, but only at the bridges because that's what the city owns. If they
Yeah.
go anywhere other than the bridges, it's going to have to be the city won't pay for it.
Right, and that's what they're talking about. And that, this study didn't even touch on that stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah,
the
we're-
conversation always leads to that when
Sure.
you're in the room with the stakeholders. So,
Sure.
But what this study really found with Encantada culverts is the bigger the opening that you make, the faster the velocity becomes coming from the Whitecap Bridge, but the lower it becomes going to the Gypsy Bridge.
Right.
Which
Okay,
is surprising. I wouldn't have
You-
guessed that.
You gain one and you lose one, right? So
Yeah.
it's really kind of, you don't want to go too big with it because then you're going to create a problem coming down Whitecap.
And then you also talked about the sizing of the culverts there at Encantada, like 9 by 9s. If the canal is only 6 feet deep, then there's no reason to put 3 foot of concrete underneath
Right.
the sand.
Yeah.
And this was also based on the assumption that the POA was going to dredge.
Yeah, they have to dredge
Which
in
they
any of
did
these
say
cases.
they would,
That's step
without a
one.
doubt, they will dredge when the time comes.
But they
and
said,
everything.
but then that leads us to where we are now, which is there was $650,000 approved by the TERS last year to put the culverts in it in Cantata. That money has now been moved over to the seawall.
Yep.
So now you got a chicken and egg problem again. The
Uh-huh.
POA
Comes
won't
down to money,
dredge.
doesn't it?
POA won't dredge until you have a commitment to put in the bulkheads, and the money to put in the bulkheads is now gone.
Oh no, we've got the TERS too. They can pay for everything, right?
Which is all dependent upon growth and development, right?
It was interesting
So,
how that
yeah,
it
this is
was
chicken
interesting
with
how that
2
went
eggs.
down because they come out with the seawall program, which is really good, and then there's $15 million, no problem, and then a little bit later they found out, well, we don't really have that money, and nobody knew what happened. And then it's like, oh, don't worry, we'll get it somewhere else. Don't worry. And then the worry became, you're going to rob it from all these other projects.
And they
So
did.
now we don't have a paper street fix. We don't
Dollar, yeah,
have we
all
don't
that.
have
But
sand
they-
dollar. We don't have.
They do have the money to continue the work on the seawall as we go forward.
Yeah, we have the money now, but they got it by robbing it from all these other
So-
projects.
so-
Now, those projects like in Cantata, Crow's Nest,
Right.
and Top Mate
So-
are not able to happen. So then what they said was, oh, don't worry, some of those projects are perfect for a bond
No.
issue. And
Now
then
we're
they
not gonna
came
have
back
bonds.
and says, oh, but by the way, there's no bond
So
issue
that's
this
out
year
there,
at
too.
all, none.
So,
So
are we about to lose you? Or can you
No, I
step
got a
around
few
for
more
one
minutes.
more?
Yeah, I got
Okay,
about
good.
10
So I wanted to get because the study that was done, it answered a lot of questions, and it kind of moved us forward to the next phase of whatever is going to happen. We've been stuck with the canal system because our POA wants to leave it closed until there was a Seagate, 4 or 5 years probably. Now that's gone away. Now there's not going to be a Seagate. So now that question is resolved, which leads us to what happens next. And what happens next is we wait for the Commodore's Canal to open, and then at some point we talk about putting these water barriers in. And I don't know, where does that move now? I guess it goes, the TERS doesn't have the money. We don't know where they're going to go.
Well, the city's taking on that endeavor, so
Right.
I think, and it's not that of an expensive endeavor.
We're
do
going to
those
jump
ladders.
Talk
into
about
a
that in a
quick
second.
break. When we get back, we find out how expensive this endeavor is going to be.
Now, that I
Stick
don't
with
know.
us, everybody. Hold fast.
Thank God it's Padre.
Just get a ranch gate and put some galvanized tin on it and wire it up. And
Let's have We'll just install a bump gate in the canals.
yes.
You can just hit it with the front of your Mayak on the way out.
I won't touch it, there's too much liability behind it. But I would put slots in it, that it would allow a certain amount of flow through.
And I think they
did have slots,
and that other gate had slots.
It did.
Hard to tell, it's so
It did. No, I mean,
went out to look at it one time just to get it out there and scrap it, and I said, I can't even make money scrapping this thing.
yeah, no. But yeah, no, it had panels that kind of overlapped
Yeah.
on both sides of those, the drop-in panels.
Right.
So water, it baffled it.
baffle through.
It baffled
Yeah.
it.
But even
Because-
then, with the forces, with that span, and I've been in 4 major hurricanes, out in the middle of the hurricanes, the worst time of it,
There's no stopping it.
Well,
no stuff.
you
No.
saw
It
the
wants to
size of
go
the
somewhere.
concrete on both sides. I mean, that was a lot. So you definitely got to design for that.
So was this like the storm event? Was this based on an Alberto kind
Harvey.
of event?
It was
bo-
Harvey, yeah.
based on Harvey,
Yeah.
which came from that direction.
Yeah.
Right.
So, this, and I talked to Tim Lang yesterday,
Uh-huh.
because my concern was, months and months ago, I went over there looking at sand down.
While the clouds promenade across the sky. Oh, oh,
It's going up. All it'll be is a dredging project.
oh, hey baby, let's go.
Yeah, because it's gonna spread out.
I'll grab us a couple of beers, driving
I
back,
talked to
see what we can find. Yeah, I'll be fishing with my baby.
you're worried about your Mickey Mouse picture, put some bull rock in it.
You can't say we don't have perfect timing! Exclamation point.
But we can't all be sitting there.
All right.
Because you don't want to take care of your boat.
Right.
That's right. We are back. This is Island Moon Live. My name is Jacob Oggs, Dr. Brian Gully, Jeff Coyne, Jay Gardner, Dale Rankin. And we got a drive-by with our buddy Rob with Padre Boat Tours. If you're looking for a boat tour around the Packery area, I'm telling you, man, you can't. Yep, Andy's waving. You can't go wrong. PadreBoatTours.com. The Packery Queen, that's right. Great outfit with some great captains. So before the break, we were teasing different projects and kind of things coming up. You guys finished this study that has a lot of relevance to new development that's going to go down on the island. A lot of this is based on water flow. So I know we've got a lot of friends on North Beach who are really anxious on getting their canal, so that we're all these studies that we're pioneering for them.
Well, so the study,
Little different canal.
so basically where this study leaves things is the Seagate opening stays at 170 feet with no Seagate. That water's coming in.
Right.
Yes.
And
Or going out.
Or either whichever, as the water wants to do. And the pinch point is under the Don Patricio Bridge. Once the water gets under the Don Patricio Bridge, the size of the opening where the old Seagate was really doesn't change the water flow very much.
Right, like I was saying before, it doesn't reduce it much more than 15% at best.
So it really what it comes down to is we just have to get the bulkheads ready for the water that's coming once all the canals open.
I think that and what the
Absolutely.
city's doing with the bladder, I think we got a path forward here,
Yeah.
at least. So that's good. Everybody
Yeah.
just wants to see this thing break loose and get open and in the right way. And
Yeah.
I think we're moving in that direction.
So right now, if we had a storm, and I talked to Tim Lang yesterday.
He's the owner of the
And
property
He
around
owns the
Lake
property,
Padre.
and he's the one that is actually paid to put that plug in there.
Right, on
And
the
he's
near
one-
the Don Patricio.
And he's already prepaid Shirley Brothers what it's going to take when the
remove it.
time says to remove it.
Okay.
Oh.
I was concerned because several months ago I came over to look at it from the offshore side and ran aground long before I got to it.
Right.
There's
And
a lot
it's-
of sand in
and-
there.
And
yeah.
so a lot of that sand has already been equilibrating in that body of water. It used to be pretty deep.
Right.
And somebody, Tim, is paying to have that removed. If there was a storm next week of any kind, that would be gone. And that would be redistributed somewhere around there.
You're
And
talking
then
about
all
the
over
sand
the
in the
place.
the
dam.
sand plug.
The
The
sand-
sand plug
it
is
would
not
be-
going to survive any kind of.
it would be everywhere.
It would swing over into the different kind of
just go
eddies and
And now
ends
it's
of
a
the
big
culverts.
It's
and,
a big mess for someone to go get it all out.
Well, and there was also Jeff Edmond mentioned some time back, the city engineer, that plug, because it could come out all at once, could even be detrimental.
It could be a
because
hazard.
You send a charge of water going down through the canal system.
Right.
Well, you break the plug, and I did this in Island Moorings. So we dug Island Moorings. It was a big cove there.
Yeah.
We dug it all dry down to 8-9 feet. Actually, we overdrove it a little bit, and then we have to pull the plug. Well,
Yeah.
if you time it by the tide when you make the final breakthrough,
Yeah, exactly.
All the
then the
sand
other
goes
thing
out,
you do,
it's
and
just-
Tim would do this, I'm sure too, because he understands that. You overdig that area, and when it breaks through, most of it ends up in that deep hole, and
Right.
and hopefully, if you've done it right, it ends up normal, and then it levels itself
Well, as you
out.
know- well, you
But
guys-
but if you do it on the wrong tide, then you can flush a bunch of water. If you do it the right tide,
Right.
it'll take a long time to equilibrate. It won't
That's
take-
right.
Well, you got one of the things that came up at the meeting, and you guys know this better than anybody because this your second or third study on water, fourth.
Yeah,
Through
fourth one.
Is there
It's
any?
getting better.
Did
Yeah,
you
it gets
did you
better
find
every time.
anything in there this time that was substantially different than before, or anything that surprised you?
No,
No, not
Not
terribly.
really.
The Seagate width, and then the culverts.
Yeah, that
it-
was a surprise. I mean, we really thought necking that down would have a more impactful difference,
did.
but it just,
And then the culverts at Encantada, instead of
Right.
going really, really wide or just putting a 6x6 in,
yeah.
another not
and
worth the
that's-
squeeze,
it-
right?
That's what you need to know. Reducing that velocity, it's not a substantial reduction either. So you're not really gaining a lot
So,
of
let's talk
less
about
scour
the
potential.
math that goes into doing a flow study like this.
You don't
What-
want to know.
And that's the kind of point of what I want to touch on is how sophisticated of equipment do you need? What is there? I'm sure there's all kinds of hydrodynamic equations that people come up with to do these and get it right.
Right.
You know, where's the secret formula? Does it all break down to just physics?
It's a combination of all that, but it's
Yeah, it's
you know, it's a
computer modeling.
hydrodynamic model, like you said, and we hired the guy. His name's Dr. Chris Reed. He's the guy that modeled Packery Channel for the Corps back when they were designing
Before it was
that.
open, he's
Okay.
done studies
Yeah.
out in the Nueces Delta.
Oh yeah, he's all
done
over the place. He's done them
studies,
in Florida, all over, and so he added onto that study all the Whitecap and all the Padre Island canals, and then he got the tide data from Conrad Blucher.
Yeah, from our
They're the only
Packery
ones
Channel
that had
station
some
and
actual
the-
velocity readings.
and the historical data from Bob Hall Pier.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So we're far enough down
So-
downrange now that there's plenty of data out there to be mined.
This is a high confidence model. Yeah, exactly.
Well, now one of the things that came up, an issue the POA raised the other night was they want to keep once the flow gets above, I think it's 1.9 feet per second, is when they start seeing problems with the bulkheads. What's the response to that? The water doesn't travel the same speed through the whole
No,
width of the canal.
not at all.
Bingo.
The top column, if you're reading there, is going to be much higher than the bottom.
And what about side
And
to
the
side?
sides.
And
Yeah.
the sides, the obviously right up the middle's the fastest
That's where
moving
it
water.
goes. Oop,
So
yes.
when people say 1.9 feet per second, they're talking about the fastest moving water at the top of the water column in the middle of the canal.
Right. And to properly read that, I'm going to drop this word on you now, Dale. This is a big
Yes.
one. Acoustic Doppler, current profiler.
Right.
So that's what you need to.
That gets
Accurately
all the
get,
up, down, side to
velocities in
side.
there.
Yeah.
So
shoots it across.
That was some of the talk from at the ISAC meeting is you want to put monitors in.
Right.
I guess at the bridges probably where it's moving the fastest or something like that.
Yeah.
You also want to put it in the widest sections too. That way
Okay.
you get an average, right?
And so what you're saying is that thing, the Doppler,
ADCP, we'll
Yeah,
call it.
it won't, you're not just dropping a measuring device into
No.
in one place.
No,
You're
you
looking
can't
at-
do that because you don't know the elevation of the Gulf or the bay at that time. So just
Okay.
getting the velocity reading
Interesting.
really means nothing unless you know that delta
Yeah.
in combination with it.
So and they were testing it in storm conditions. What kind of info would you say that storm was? Like up to a Cat 5?
Well, it was Harvey
Or was
data.
It was Harvey.
It was
For
Harvey.
whatever
data.
that
Okay.
was worth here,
Yeah.
is what
Okay.
that impact
Oh,
was.
that's incredible. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was
so
the
pretty-
highest
pretty
delta.
powerful, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when you're looking at how that's going to affect the model, you want to see the surge that it created in the shortest period of time because that's going to create the highest velocity.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Surges, for the most part, are very slow
They're
rising.
slow, right?
But
Come up,
Harvey had
down.
forcing and a lot of rain.
The wind
so
forcing.
it pushed it out faster.
So,
So-
We
you
had,
put up-
we had 6 feet of canal. I'm in the back canals, and we had 6 feet of water.
Right. Yeah, I remember
And
that.
it,
It came
and it was
up real
outbound
high.
windborne, and my house is at 9 feet, so I was 3 feet to the good. But it was outbound water, and it came in rather slowly. It didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a rush.
And in that case, the backside of the island flooded and Lake Padre was probably empty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
the inverse is usually
So
true.
a
on
Seagate
storm.
would have done no good.
I had
No,
8.5
man.
feet of Packard Channel.
Yeah.
We had that much surge.
That's
or that much
incredible, yeah.
elevation, yeah.
Only halfway up your yard.
Well, and
Well, I built my house at 13.
Yeah.
and so
I knew that was coming sooner.
there's-
Been in
there's-
my yard several times.
yeah.
there's all these dominoes that are set up in place, right? So
Yep.
the Commodore Sand Dam, the Lake Padre Sand Dam, the Encantada culverts, all set to go. What has to fall? Is it the approval from Army Corps to take out Commodores?
That's the first catalyst,
That's
yeah,
it.
for
Okay.
Commodores, and then the funding got to get secured for Encantada.
Okay.
That's going to have to be a TERS deal, right, or something like that.
From the city side.
All right, and you did have Chris run that model with Commodores open, but the sand plug still in.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah, and you do get some flow, some tidal movement through there north to south, but it's not enough to really flush those canals
Right.
and clean them out like they need to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I would think that north to south canal with that, kind of the main southeast wind there might help, but I don't think that would be enough to
No.
really.
No, you're moving it
because-
along on the surface, but not the bottom.
Right,
Okay,
and you're, that
interesting.
southeast wind, and that's how we designed the Whitecap canals to use the southeast wind to help circulation within the Whitecap. But you're absolutely right. Even if Encantada was fully open, there's not an opening for water to come in. They're all dead end south of Encantada, so you're not going to get a whole lot of flows.
So the recommendation that came out, it was 4 or 5, whatever it was.
Option 4,
The
yeah.
option 4 is 12 feet. Box culverts 12 feet wide and 6 feet high.
No,
Six
it's
by
a 6
six.
by 6.
It was just a 6x6.
6 by 6.
Yeah, that was the best squeeze.
1 or
for it
2?
to- yeah.
one
just one.
run.
1 6 by 6.
And then that was mainly, and Jeff Edmonds keyed in on that. It was about DO. It was
Yeah.
about dissolved oxygen.
Yeah, that's the gain in all this. Like I said, the velocity reduction really in there. It's the flow volume and water quality that you're gaining from the project.
So we
Low
worked on this.
volume and water quality. All the sexy stuff. We're going to take a quick break. We're coming right back at you on Island Moon Live. Everybody hold fast.
I thought somebody turned on.
Yeah, I'll be fishing with my baby in the bright moonlight. See, I can fish and surf all day. But when the moon is bright with the phosphor light, I wanna be with my baby.
Hey, Dave,
where you going?
Scoot that mic and the chair in. You're like hanging off on the edge. There you go.
Yeah.
Gotta get up, gotta get down and
Well, hang out for a little bit. Yeah, hang out for a little bit. And we probably need to.
Jeff's got to go.
Yeah.
Jump on in.
What we need to know is where are the points that are the biggest risk. And we know that.
We already know that, yeah.
And if you look at the original plan, it had some ornering on it, which they never did.
No, it's in their manual.
And a lot of times these guys will back up their boat, run their motor, do this. And next thing you know, they blow a hole right next to our boat.
Yeah.
One of those is my brother-in-law. One of my brother-in-laws.
Yes.
Complete foundation
We had-
repair.
We were trying to get the Donzi off Jeff's lift. We had blew a hole next to the deal so we could get that cradle down enough.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we need. There needs to be some kind of a program to help people access rocks that they can do
Or
themselves.
crush concrete. Yeah, they probably need this. BOA could probably just have loads of concrete delivered in a parking lot someplace, and people can just come get it and put it next to their bulkheads. Right.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we ought to talk about now that this study is done, where do we go from here? I think that's kind of what
Aqua barriers and open the plugs and Encantada. That's what we've been saying the whole time.
that project's been stuck for 2 years. And it's frustrating because you go to the meetings and they're not talking to each other.
Hey,
Thanks for being
Jeff,
here,
thanks
Jay.
again, brother.
You get bored over there, come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
What time y'all shut it down?
Oh, they go till 1
No, but y'all here 2,
o'clock.
1. Oh, okay.
I got at 1 o'clock, so I got to leave here after a bit. So come back in and fill me, switch
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
They'll finish. Speakers will finish over there about 12:40.
it's Terrence.
Yeah. I think his contractors have mostly left town.
They just came in from a 1 day.
They came in Tuesday night, and the ones that were there, they had people, marketing people in from Austin and from New York.
Didn't I see Ronnie somewhere? Oh,
He
there's
came-
a.
Ronnie came and went because he came to pick up papers. Ronnie's battling the raccoons. He's got a house full of raccoons, and he hauled the mama raccoon out in a trap. Now the baby raccoons are in the walls,
Yeah.
and he's trying to lure them out with bait. And the only thing they'll eat are marshmallows,
Well,
and they eat a lot of them.
Great, they like grapes.
He,
Oh,
he
yeah.
tried
Yeah.
feeding them watermelon and I don't know what all. And
They'll eat grapes.
the only thing they would eat were marshmallows. And he's trying to draw.
And we are back on Island Moon Live. It's another beautiful day, a gorgeous Island Moon Thursday, and we are glad you are joining us. We are hanging out down at our Waterline studio here at Doc Seafood and Steaks at the beautiful base of the JFK Bridge. And we're just I was on my way over here earlier, and man, I put my truck in gear. It sounded like I kind of felt like the transmission may be slipping a little bit, and I was thinking, man, it's probably time to get into a new ride. I need to go see my buddy Frank over at Discount Motor Company. He's right there at 6601 SPID, right between Turner's and the movie theater. You can call them at 851-2900 or go to discountmotorcompany.com. You can see their active inventory, all the stuff they have, and go talk to Frank. Frank the Bank wants to buy your old car or truck. They'll pay you $500 more than that big box store across the freeway, and you can actually talk with someone who can make a decision. They don't have to go talk to their manager and everything. So go see Frank the Bank over at Discount Motor Company. He wants to buy your car or truck, and tell him Island Moon Live sent you.
I was by there the other day, and he's got a fleet of white trucks.
Yes. A bunch of those nice 4x4 F-250s. He's got all kinds of stuff. Fleet vehicles, man, anything you can look for.
Jeff
those
Cohen.
Those fleet vehicles, the thing about them is they may be in the oil field, but they're not the guys that are hauling all the junk. They're the guys driving around checking on things, and they maintain them. They have a good maintenance program.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to go.
Jeff Cohen had to leave us. He's going to the People Luncheon where they're going to have a presentation by Terrence Johnson, who is the executive vice president of Ashlar. He's the head guy at Whitecap, and we were over there this week. They had in contractors and builders from all over the country. They're getting ready to move into that phase. They finish up the model homes. But I want to go back, before we leave it, I want to go back to this study that was done this week. The city had done with LJA. And to recap, for those who didn't hear, basically the gap between Packery Channel and Lake Padre is going to stay at 170 feet. And now the next question is, when does the Commodore's Canal open? And at the same time, we're in the understanding is the Lake Padre will open. What happens next? And the answer is we're looking at some sort of flow control devices that go in the canals potentially, but we're also looking at a 6x6 box culvert at Encantada. And what that will do, along with the Commodore's Canal, is relieve some of the pressure on the water flow in the POA canals.
Right, through Gypsy and Whitecap and all that. It kind of splits it out.
Do we have to wait for that culvert to go in before they can take that sand plug out?
I don't think so.
No,
Good.
they are independent projects.
I'm so ready to get that out of there.
Yeah.
Once the plugs are gone, and that's the question that everyone on the island keeps asking is, why don't we build all these bridges and then plug up the canals? and that's kind of where we are. And the whole notion, and you and I, Brian, when we had somebody from the POA on here some time ago, said they want to leave it closed for 5 years, and you told them that's never going to happen.
I told them that's not going to happen.
That was never a real idea.
Words.
Yeah.
I'll go open it myself.
And so-
There'll be people out with shovels in the middle of the night.
And so now we have a study that explains why that was not a good idea, and that's kind of where we are. So now what it comes down to is the POA just has to get the bulkheads ready for water to flow through.
This goes back to 2004 bond issue.
It does. Yeah.
Over 22 years.
Yes.
And it was a water exchange bridge. That's originally what it was for. And
Yeah.
they're still not exchanging water 22 years later.
And, well, it's getting closer, but, the preparations weren't made either. So,
Well, you knew what Brian's talking about. In 2004, there was a bond issue for 1.4, I think it was, 1.2, and that was to change culverts under SPID to bring water from Lake Padre into a bridge.
Yeah.
So for 22 years, we've known that
that it's coming.
this water is coming.
And as soon as National Marine Fisheries gives me consultation on giant manta rays coming through the canal system,
God.
then they'll pull the Commodore plug.
But the point is that it wasn't that nobody's hair was on fire until Tropical Storm Alberto came through and knocked down some bulkheads, and everybody said, "Well, now, now we got a problem." Well, the problem went all the way back to 2004.
Right.
It just wasn't addressed.
Well, their hair's on fire, but they're not doing anything about it.
That's correct.
Just let
So-
it burn.
so
They're asking
all-
the city when the city's going to fix the problem, and it's not the city's problem.
This is a scouring problem. Well, let's get back to the basics. What this is everybody's worried about more damage like we had before. And due to the scouring, are we going to have enough water flow and velocity to scour around those corners, especially around the corners as
Right.
it's coming out? And this is we do this all the time at the port, or we we have to do it all over in Ingleside because it's the same thing, but it's big ships coming in. They're bigger and they're faster,
Right.
and they're pushing a huge amount of water, and then they're sucking a huge amount of water.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
even in the cove of Port Aransas, back in the cove, there's a huge surge that comes in and out when a big ship comes through.
Yep.
And it's causes scouring. And what we've had to do, because I have bulkheads in there too, is we have to put bull rock down in there and armor that thing so it protects from it being scoured. It would seem to be with all these 4 studies, what they need to know is where is the risk points for the scouring, and what do we need to do to put armor that thing to
So-
protect it, so that whatever it comes, because you can't predict what kind of storm we're going to have.
and the
you can
city's
run all
already-
the math you want, but
Right.
you'll never know.
So the POA actually did have somebody come in and do a side scan, and just in that area around
They
the
did.
corner by
Right where the damage was.
where the
up
damage
toward
was.
Whitecap.
What they need to do is they need to do that all over through their canals on both sides of Incantata, and that will tell them how much volume of sand they need to pull out.
you can do it with a
associated.
stick with 1-foot markers on it.
You could do
Yeah,
that too.
yeah,
You could,
yeah.
Well, they
the
said
old-
that's the way they used to do it.
The old Rubidoo pole.
That's the way I did
yes.
at Marker 37.
What they found when the canals opened was that from the Whitecap Bridge south to the turn into the main canal where the damage happened, the water flow removed the sand down to the clay layer, down
Yeah.
to about 11 feet, and then it also dug a hole 18 to 22 feet. I forget the exact number, just north of the intersection of those two.
And that's probably already been filled in by now.
They've already done that.
Yeah, the
'Cause
city put a
sand-
lot of rock in there.
Yeah.
They went in there, well, the POA addressed that, went in and put in pilings where they could, filled in the hole. I watched them do when they were out doing the measuring the depth of the hole. So,
Okay.
so that part, it takes the sand out down below the 8-foot bulkheads. It took it down, I want to say 11 feet. So the solution is you go and you sink deeper pilings. You sink pilings that go down below 11 feet.
And then put bull rock in.
They're not at the bull rock stage yet.
But
They'll
it's-
wait till the
it's-
11-foot pilings fail,
in
and
there.
then they'll put in
That's
the
the
bull rock.
cheapest part. Is
They
the
have
bull
a
rock.
beautiful drawing in their own manual that shows putting bull rock down at the corner of that. So yeah,
Well,
just
that's
never
what the
did.
city did at the bridges.
like
Yes.
that.
Right.
I was about to say the city's
Immediately.
responsibility were the bridges, and they did go in and drop a bunch of bull rock down there
I
and
don't think
reinforce them.
I don't think you can fault the city in
No.
terms of they've done everything
Yeah.
they've been asked.
Absolutely. And then some.
And
Quickly.
And the bridges are ready to go. We now know what needs to happen or not happen.
Yeah,
At
and-
the Seagate location.
And thanks thanks again to the city for having LJA do this 4th study on this. Like if anyone says anything about Farfield, I'm turning your microphone off. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. So look at the scouring inside the Packer Channel Bridge.
Oh my
We have
gosh.
45-foot hole there, almost
either
immediately.
side, yeah.
Well, the biggest one's on the inside, but yeah, on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a place to go catch a drum at slack
and I
tide.
think TxDOT's had to put more rock in there to protect that
right.
bridge. Right?
That's all. Well, and that area over there is starting to develop. We saw you're talking about near the Packery Channel Bridge. We had a story this week. The land right next to the bridge towards Commodore has been purchased by AEP. They're going to put a substation in right there, right across the sand dollar route where there's no street. The paper street. They're going to put a substation in right there. They're calling it the Dolphin Substation. I assume it's to meet the increased demand that's coming from all the development around there. But they just popped up on they just closed on that in April. It was just announced this week. So basically, the next thing that needs to happen before we move off the canal system is we have to figure out a way to fund Incantata. So that's going to come back to ISAC at the next meeting, potential sources of revenue, right?
Well, I pretty much said don't be looking too hard at the TERS because
It's not there.
It's not, and it's not coming for a while. So
So where can you
So
get it?
There are other funding sources that the city can use. They can use stormwater because remember the culverts are under a city street.
You're only talking
can
about $1
use-
million.
I think what
Million
was option
two.
2 was $1,200,000.
well,
yeah.
they added two while
option
we're there
4.
for monitoring.
Right.
That's a lot of monitoring, $200,000. But
Hey, look, the water's flowing.
Hey, if they need manatee observers, Jay and I are your
Yes,
guys. We've got
we're
the team.
official manatee observers.
I'm a
yes.
manatee wrangler.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
So once
yeah,
I get
yeah.
my saddle patented, I'm in business.
you know that the Texas State Aquarium, which I'm on that executive board, we're becoming a treatment center, rescue center for manatees now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
All
kind of
right.
interesting.
How
Not that it's
often do we see them, man? I mean,
once
When
every
the
2 or 3
canal
every
was
years.
now
open,
and
the
then.
last time the canal was open, within a week,
Within days.
within days,
Really? They
we
were
had a
here.
manatee in the canal.
We've had 2 this season already.
Really?
Yep.
They come
show
into
up.
canals, I think, looking for fresh water.
Yes,
We don't
they-
have a lot of freshwater
that,
inflows here.
That freshwater signature coming from people's yards or leaky things and
Yeah.
So
rinsing
once,
boats. And
but
yeah.
once we saw the canals open, we saw not just cleaner water, but we saw a change in the wildlife coming into
all
our
kinds of good stuff.
system, and that's been the goal since
All along.
1993. In these core permits, you go back and read them, every single one of them. The underlying premise is we need water flowing
Water
through the
quality.
canals,
Yeah.
and so
Well,
it's
that-
not a surprise.
that fresh water flow is going to bring in potentially, well, not potentially, it will, and it has in the past, bring in snook and tarpon.
They were
You
they
know,
were
and I-
there immediately.
Yeah, I'm excited for the time when my daughters are older and say, "Oh, I remember in the day when they had the canal closed and we didn't have manatees and snook and tarpon in the canals and
Right.
the water. They had to put bubblers in the back of the canal
Right.
systems because the water was so disgusting and stagnant, everything would die."
They used to call those oxygenators, and I took an issue with that because there's
It's
no
not
oxygen; it's just air.
It's just
Mostly
air,
nitrogen.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
some oxygen in there, but it's mostly not. And so they started calling them aerators. And so once we get the canals open, those go away. And I think we're at the point now where we've kind of entered the home stretch. We just got to get the permitting done. We know what we need to do.
Right.
We just need to find a little bit of funding that can be done, and we move forward.
And we're
So
there.
if there's anybody at City Hall listening to this and you want an easy win,
Yeah.
I
Right.
suggest you look at the
Find $1 million.
in Cantata. We've
And-
already got the
yeah.
agreement from the POA to dredge. They've already got the permits. The process should not take too long, and those sand dams can be gone within a day.
There's 5 city councilmen, including the mayor, that need these boats out here. That's enough to do anything. So
Especially $1 million for
coming up
something
to
like
Campaign
that.
Now you're just
time.
being pragmatic, Dr. Gully.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
So that's kind of why this study was so crucial, because it clears out the ground clutter, for lack of a better word,
Does.
and it tells us where we are and what we need to do going forward.
Exactly.
So now it's just a matter of getting it done.
All right.
And we're now 26 years into the process, and now we can see the end in sight.
Right. Exactly.
So hopefully by this time next year we'll have water flowing, and
Are you going to take that bet with Norm?
I already lost it.
Already lost
I
five.
told I paid my $5 and told Norm not to spend it all in one place.
Yeah. Jeez.
But hopefully that'll be the next shoe to fall, and I
I'll
think-
make that bet, but I'm afraid I might be out there in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
It
that's
up a little bit.
Dr. Gully, you and I will be out there with shovels.
Yeah.
Could make you a suspect.
I'll do a lot for a $5 bet.
We got a lot more to get to coming at you in a sec. Everybody, hold fast.
I'm out.
You and I should play in our oceanside playland. Oh,
I know. Right. Exactly.
in our oceanside
We've been talking about it since '93.
Frank's here.
In 2004, there was a bond election
Oh, God.
to make a bridge. Well, if you
All right, amigo.
Rockin', thanks for jumping in, brother.
Yeah.
you don't need a bridge.
If the POA doesn't get it by now,
Yeah.
That's what Sonny Castro did. I can say that now because he's dead. But we broke into that canal in Isle Orange, Isle Moy, but he wanted to break into
Yeah.
the Piper property.
yeah.
That opens it up immediately to bigger water.
Yeah.
And that's what his whole plan was. And What's
going on, brother?
I said, Sonny, you can't do that. You're going to piss
Yeah.
off everybody.
When are y'all making the official move?
But I think he did.
He did,
went in
and
there opened
he
it up.
called me, and he was asking how fast can you get a permit. I was like, I don't know, 6-8 months, not soon enough.
Yeah.
The next thing I know,
So it's opened itself.
yeah,
We're coming to you next, Reedy.
All right, what do you want to say?
We want to talk about the work going on at the Port A ferries,
Okay.
and anything else that you got on your plate that you want to talk about.
yeah.
After that,
I don't talk about water
yeah,
or anything. Yes.
yeah. And how much traffic is coming over? What will the new ferries look like? What exactly are they building?
Oh yeah.
Sure, we're getting a new ferry
And,
in any time soon. We've got 5,
And when we're gonna start muddle and puddle over here on the JFK
I
Causeway?
think that's with the city, isn't
Well,
We'd
theoretically,
stay out of these foreign wars, we'd have a tunnel by now underneath that, under that little Port Aransas.
Yes, it's with the city.
I think a tunnel's probably cheaper than the damn bridges, what bridges cost now.
Bridges are insane, and it dropped down the way the slopes have to be so gradual. Now they'll be dropping down it. Of course, fall up here.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah, well,
messes
we
up all the
had,
real estate on both sides.
Whitney
That's
Moore, the
problem.
mayor, Port Aon
Tunnel
last
up.
week, and we asked her about the ferry work. She knew a little bit, but she didn't know a lot of details. So that's what I wanted to get into. People show up, what do they need to know? Is it more weights? What's the scope of the work? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they just need to be a little bit patient because engineers tell me that it's called, you're an engineer, but we're getting peak hours condensed.
Right.
I mean, you know,
Yes.
So
everybody's
just
showing
remember, you
up at the
gotta
same time.
jump up on the mic and talk right into the logo. It's a side address mic.
That's all right.
We're about to jump back to the radio.
You got all these kinds of rock stars showing up here.
Very good.
You're gonna
Hey,
have,
Jason.
You're gonna have to do some rotation anyway. What's going on, amigo? Good to see you. Hey, welcome back from Hawaii. And the next.
And hello to
I just
everybody
saw the boat
watching
go
on
by.
YouTube.
Yeah, I did a 100-hour service this morning.
Oh.
It's done down at.
What is that? What do you have to do there?
Check props, change the oil, all that good shit.
Welcome back to Island Moon Live. We've got a table full of characters. Special thanks to Jeff Cohen and Jay Gardner for jumping in earlier, talking about the study that LJA did. We've got a bunch of people jumping around the table. Ricky Daly with TxDOT, Dr. Brian Gully, Frank Floyd. My name is Jacob Oggs, Dale Rankin, and Jason Towns, the pilot. If you see the yellow and blue biplane
Yellow Carol.
flying around, that is him. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the
So,
show.
so Ricky, last week on the show, we were live in Port Aransas, and we had the mayor on. We were asking her about the work going on at the Port Aransas Ferry. She knew some things, but she didn't know a lot of details. So, bring us up to speed on what the scope of the work is and how it will change the encounter that people have with the system as they go across the channel.
It's a $64 million project, and it's pretty extensive. It involves ramps, pile clusters, fenders, counterweight structures, steel sheet piles, fueling systems, electrical systems, pavement, and lighting. And all of that is going to put that Port Aransas side in really good shape for the future.
So, is all the work on the Port Aransas side?
All the work is on the Port Aransas side now. We're looking at moving to the Harbor Island
Next.
side. Yeah, but we've still got a ways to go on the Port Aransas side. And what we're seeing is we're seeing a combination of seasonal demand, maritime traffic, and that project, which limits the number of ramps we can use.
Oh.
On the Port Aransas side, we have 5 ramps. We're down to 3.
Oh, wow.
That
And what's the duration of this? Do you think the delay is going to kind of push the how long are you expecting?
it's going to at least go through the summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I hate
so-
to say that, but it
Yeah.
is.
Well, then that was the statement that TxDOT released, was basically warning people of,
Right.
hey, if you thought it was bad before, don't open your beer in your truck, but hold your beer.
Well, but we're getting also to what we see as a condensed peak demand. That's what the engineers tell me that we're seeing. I'm not an engineer, but that's what we're seeing. Everybody's showing up at one time. That 10 o'clock checkout time from 10 to noon or 1.
Right.
We clear it out pretty soon after that. But when you get that condensed pulse,
So do a late
There's
brunch. Do a late brunch before you head over the ferry, and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
well, yeah, enjoy the ride. You know, sometimes you can see it when people are coming across. They get on the ferry, they turn the baseball cap backwards, and they're on vacation. And that's what we
Well,
want to see.
When I was a kid, my dad always used to get a kick out of you. Watch the guy in front of you trying to steer the ferry
The
with
boat,
his
yeah.
steering wheel in his car. He'd honk his horn at him. So we're not adding ferry boats.
No,
We're improving the landing.
we're improving the landing. We still have our fleet of 8. We have 5 large ferries which hold 28 vehicles. We have 3 small ones. which hold 20. Those little ferries are workhorses. They can come back and forth, and they load pretty quick, and they get the traffic moving.
And people have, in the past have said, well, why don't you just make larger ferry boats? And the problem is the time that it takes to load and unload. There's a certain
You
fine
kiss your
line, there's a
sister.
balance there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 600 cars per hour. Is that right, Ricky?
That may be right. We carry about 2 million vehicles a year, a little over 2 million. Right now, we're up to about 773,000 vehicles
So
today.
around this time in summer, what is the average long wait time, and what do you think that could look like? 3-4 hours?
No, I don't think it'll go that far
No?
because
Okay.
because again, we're getting that condensed peak demand.
Yeah.
And once that clears out in a couple of hours,
Yeah.
then it's back. So I think we have maybe an hour and a half.
Okay.
Cl-
And
approaching two-
checkout time is 11 o'clock on Sunday on most weekends. So just FYI, everybody.
Just make the drive around. Come down and take the Island Road down and go over to JFK.
Yes.
The funny thing this week, I've noticed it during the middle of the week, even in the middle of the day, you see cars lining up to turn left to go to Port Aransas. It's not just a weekend phenomenon anymore.
No, and that's one thing we're seeing, Dale, is that we're seeing people showing up on today, like Thursday. They're staying till Sunday. A lot of them leave, but some of them are staying till Monday and Tuesday. And then what you get in is you get in that tourist traffic, that visitor traffic, mixed in with the regular commuter traffic.
Well, and if people are curious about ferry wait times, I know there's a camera on the ferry system, right? You also
That's right.
have you're posting the ferry wait times on the TxDOT signs, the black signs with the yellow,
That's right.
or yellow dots. Those are up, so you can kind of let people know what they're up against that way.
You can also call 361
Is it-
749 2850. That's to the dispatch office, and they can give you the
Okay.
wait times
The
there.
accurate wait time.
You can also, we have traffic cameras that are available to the public.
Those
Just
are
go-
handy.
Yeah, just go to TxDOT, put in TxDOT traffic cams, and it'll take you to the Corpus Christi district. You can see them. We've got them lined up throughout our 10 counties.
So we're looking at about here by the JFK where we're sitting at docks. We're looking at an average daily crossing through the year of about 33 to 35,000 vehicles, right?
Probably that's
Both directions,
yeah.
something like that. But so if you do the math there, that's average. So on the big holidays, you're probably close to double that. When people are, it's condensed peak traffic or whatever that is. Everybody wants to come in at the same time, and so that's kind of what we're looking at. So basically, through this summer, if you're crossing the Port Aransas Ferry, check ahead because there's work going on the Port Aransas side that could cause some delays, and they're down from 5 boats, you said, to 3?
No, five landings on the Port Aransas side. We have 3 operating right now because
3.
we've got this $64 million improvement
Gotcha.
project going on. So pack a little patience, but enjoy the ride.
Right. Well, when you come across on the ferry, look for the dolphins, and that makes it all worthwhile. Right?
There you go.
Well, and speaking of enjoying the ride, we've got Frank Floyd here from Wind and Wave Surf Shop. You guys have a kayak demo day coming up, don't you?
We sure do. It's not this Saturday, the next Saturday, the day before Father's Day.
Perfect time to get your dad that SUP or that kayak he's been eyeing. Where are you guys gonna hold it? It's the same place, kind of base of the 361 bridge.
Yeah, northwest corner of the 361 bridge over Packery Channel.
That's a good location because you're not that deep. You're kind of out of the storm surge and water kind of overflow area. You're not going to have anybody ripping down the canal with a quick tide event.
Well, when high tide comes in, it floods over there sometimes.
I'm hoping we don't have that high a tide
Right.
next time, but
What Brian
it's
said
been
you-
looking good.
Brian just said you got a 40-foot hole over there, so
Well, we won't be in that part.
That's in that bridge. There's also a hole in Port Aransas off that Harbor Island. It's about 95 feet deep in the ship channel, right at the edge of the ship channel. Been there for many, many years. It's
Harbor at
scouring.
the end of Harbor Island.
Kind of where that FEMA dock used to be, right in that, kind of that area offshore there, where it used to be.
That's just put there by the tide, by the moving water.
It's some kind of swirl of the current, because that's a net outflow channel also, and I guess it swirls around there. That's where the discharge, when we got the permit for the diffusers for the seawater discharge in Harbor
Right.
Island, that's where it's going to be down that hole, because we know there's a lot of mixing goes on there.
Well, I want to get in a little bit. I want to get to you met with the guys that are trying to put in desal the private funded desal plan. I want to get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of been front of mind. But Ricky, before we let you go, is there anything else that we need to know going on in the TxDOT world?
No, that's pretty much it. We're still working on 361 Regional Parkway, which y'all call the Second Causeway.
Right.
That's still in the environmental stage.
Any idea when that'll be done? The environmental stage will be done?
What we're looking at is that end of 26 or early 27, we're going to go back out to the public. We'll probably have a public meeting then on those two alternatives that we have
So as it
developed.
stands right now, those two alternatives are here by a parallel run with the JFK Bridge where we are,
Right.
and a second one coming across somewhere near Sea Pines, right?
Yes, that's what it showed, but that's what we're studying now, and that could change. I mean, that's why we're looking for public comment, and we'll probably ask for
Well,
that.
in looking at the drawings, it didn't look like it comes right down Sea Pines. It's adjacent to Sea Pines.
That's a variable, Dale. It could be anywhere within that study area, and that's what we're looking at.
Ricky, thanks for jumping in and talking with us. We're going to take a break for the news, but we will be right back for another beautiful Island Moon Thursday. Everybody enjoy the news. We will see you at 1 o'clock.
Love you like a hula girl, baby, don't you know? I love you like a hula girl, yeah, yeah, whoa.
Bada bing, bada bing.
Is that not the case?
It is now. They should name
I've gotten some good eye rolls from that.
Those names are.
The number of cars you can move back and forth doesn't make a lot of difference.
I like the traffic backing up this way right now.
They're working,
They're working
right in front of y'all, yeah.
Oh, that's
Now they're
right.
on that side. So now if you leave here and try to go back, you're going to hit it.
Okay, I saw it this morning. I went over.
They're just doing gap maintenance, from what I saw.
So where do we go next? We want to talk to Jason, and then we got American Legion. And
Yep.
We'll get Jason.
Yep. Jason, Rob, no, okay.
I love that picture of that sea pod with the little crabs in it. We ran that on the front page last week with that two
You're gonna okay,
crabs
yeah.
sitting right in the end of it.
Mention it again.
Yeah.
Next Thursday, I'd like to come
I
back.
thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I had
absolutely,
no
man.
idea what
For
that
sure.
looked like on
Awesome.
the
Thanks for
inside.
stopping by.
Saw that.
We're going to have waves for several days, too.
I know. I
What
saw
time
up
is
to
the
5
event,
feet.
Frank?
Should
I'll
be
talk
good.
about it again here.
10 to 4.
10 to 4.
Yeah.
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
All right. Quick mic check right here.
I'll see you
Locked
all
in there.
Thursday.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Thanks, buddy.
No,
we're
we
live
record
on-
through and they were playing
Yeah,
at 1.
live through on YouTube, and then I just send them the segments, and they'll plop it in from 1 to 2 and play it. Yeah, but we're still live on YouTube. So hello and thank you to everybody
So we
watching
do
on
this
YouTube
hour
right now.
live on YouTube, then they air it. They air it at 1.
The damage I can do.
Ricky, appreciate it. We'll have to have you back on, man. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
anytime you got something going on, just let me know. And, anything 361, Causeway, all that stuff people are interested in. Anything else. Certainly under the bridge over here, if anything happens there, yeah.
Everybody's project.
It's been that thing.
All right.
That thing puts the opening of the canals in the shade, man. That's been on the books since the 70s.
All right. Segment 1,
Thanks
11
for coming,
minutes.
man.
Thanks, Ricky.
Appreciate it. Yeah, come in anytime.
You guys want to jump on in? And roll this. We're set this up into 4 segments. First one will be 11 minutes.
So we'll come to you next, Jason.
Yeah.
I don't want to take up anybody else's time. I'll just try.
All right.
that you know you are so late.
And welcome back to Island Moon Live. It's another beautiful Thursday here at our Docks Waterline studio. Special thanks to Docks, home of the best fried shrimp in Corpus. And every time I come here, I always get the crab stuffed flounder. I look at everything else on the menu and I keep going back to it. They had a redfish special a little while ago that had like a Caribbean jerk topping on it. Oh, it was so good. Highly recommend coming out to Docks if you want to really impress your friends. And if you're looking to impress some other business associates or have an event coming up, you need to get some promotional products from Impact Marketing. Go see Ted downtown. He's right off there off of 423 Schatzel Street, 887-9300, or you can just go to impactmarketingcc.com. They do screen printing, embroidery, safety gear, technology, everything with your company's logo. If you're looking to make a statement or look good, you need to reach out to Corpus Christi's premier promotional products purveyor. We have got a table still loaded with people. Jason Towns joining us. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, thank you for having me back. I've been here for 22 years now, and I'm about done.
Oh, yeah?
Moving on. I'm not saying where because I don't want to be followed. I feel like I was when I got here.
So
Boy, this place has gotten
and we
busy.
do have a lot of police and authorities listening to us, so maybe that's for the best.
So you own. So you started the Skydive South Texas back. How long ago has that been?
Oh, that's been 17 years ago.
So you're
And
bailing out of the
that has-
skydive business.
That has already been bailed out of, but I
Yeah.
still have the Stearman, the Boeing biplane for one more weekend. It's
the
come-
Yellow Peril.
Indeed, a PT-17 biplane from World War II. It's 85 years old, still runs like a top, but apparently a collector in South Africa wants it, and it's going to get crated and shipped to him, we hope, if the deal goes through, next week or the week after. So this will be the final weekend if you want to see the island from the air, from a vintage biplane with a radial Jacobs engine. Give me a call, MustangIslandAir.com or 361-537-3776. You won't regret it. I have great dad jokes for all the teenagers that want to ride along and see the water. It's beautiful
Well, I can
this
tell
time of
you
year.
from experience, riding in an open cockpit is very different than riding in a cockpit with doors and windows on it.
Indeed.
You sense that you're up in the air when you're looking over the side and right at the ground.
And it sounds like a Harley with 7 cylinders.
These guys, I jumped with these guys twice, and I will tell you, as a pilot, used to flying a 210 or whatever, and it's just weird to step out of one and jump out because I'm so used to flying one, taking off and landing one. But everybody should do that once or twice in a while.
Brian, you
you
haven't
feel like
ridden
a
with
quitter?
me in this yet. This is the last thing you can do with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
So-
this weekend.
Yeah.
Keep
So, Jason, the skydiving operation will continue under new management,
right. It is new ownership.
and so the no more open cockpit flights, but skydiving will remain.
So
Correct,
they're
correct.
still
Just
at
not
the,
with me.
still at the airport, right?
Yes, sir.
I remember there was a time that Port Aransas wasn't going to let them, jump out of
tried
the
to-
airport. So I own the property next door. I just said,
They
Yeah.
tried to kick Jason out. We fought that fight. You didn't want to talk about that.
we just moved to my parking lot.
But so at this typically how many jumps you do on a weekend up there?
Oh, shoot. We were doing 1,100, 1,200 jumps a year under my ownership. The new crew is much more social media and marketing savvy than I ever was. I just never got real good
So-
at that
and-
stuff. So I think they're probably going to do 1,400 people a year.
So most of those are dual jumps.
Yes, sir.
You don't
Tandem
need
jumps.
experience. You just show up. You're freight.
That's
You show
correct.
up. You show up and sign on, and out you go. And I can tell you, I've been up in that plane watching people jumping. I've done it twice for stories over the years, and you're right. Jumping out of one is not a natural act. You have to think about
you
it.
have to talk yourself into it.
Yeah. Well, the best part about skydiving down here is the fact that you're by the ocean. You can see all of the beautiful landscape and everything around you. Whereas if you're in the middle of the desert in New Mexico, it's like, hey, look, there maybe is a mesa or something. But down here around Port A, you have such a wide scope of view. And as soon as that canopy opens and you slow up and you really just get kind of carried by the wind, it's a magical experience.
But you get up there at 8,000 or 9,000 feet, you're going to land on the beach. You guys used to land on the beach.
Oh, that was
And
that
you
was
look
really
down
nice.
there, and you could barely see the beach. You
Well,
knew it was down there somewhere.
But you also got to watch out for when you land on the beach. Don't want to get attacked by a dog.
Yeah, Riley P. I think we made the front of Parachute Magazine or Skydive Magazine or something. Jason came in for a landing, and Riley P. Dog decided that they were invading from the sky and bit Jason on the leg. So we named a dog
story.
park. We named a dog park after him. We figured any dog that'll do that needs its own dog park.
But for all those people not interested in skydiving, this is your last weekend for going on just a slow little cruise at only 500 to 800 feet along the coast in the Stearman biplane.
Outstanding. Well, thanks
right.
for all your beautiful flights and entertaining everybody through
Hope
the
you
years.
enjoyed
and-
that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we came by.
We were
Had an
trying to do
awesome
that
flyby.
live, but didn't work out. I guess the cell phone signal disappeared, but
We heard you.
I might see you this weekend.
Yeah.
May come by tomorrow.
I'll stop by out there.
And I'll add one thing. Anybody can do that. My wife, who's sitting over here, is 80. But when she was 18, her first jump, and she was out on a biplane like that with the parachute on and jumped off at 18 years old. She kind of fudged it because she was only 17, and she forged her mom and dad's
Well, that's like
signature to do that.
barnstorming.
Yeah.
It's like where you fly by the crowd and the guy jumps off the wing with a parachute
That's
on.
exactly what she had to do. Yep.
So there was, at the time in World War II, there were, 1,100 of those things or something like
No,
that?
they actually built 9,000 of them.
And they lined them up over here at the Naval Air
There were
Station.
several hundred here in Corpus. Mine actually belonged to the Navy, and it was based in Jacksonville, Florida.
That's how they taught
according to the records,
they taught
yeah.
farm boys how to fly.
So almost every pilot in World War II learned in the Stearman, in the Boeing. A-75 is what they called it. And it's just a really, really easy airplane to fly. Very basic. It's just the landing. Even the landing is easy, but like golf,
can't
it's
see where
the-
you're going.
But like golf, it's the follow through. It's like backing up a boat trailer at 30 miles an hour. Getting started is fine. It's what's going to happen in 5 seconds.
Well, I
know?
noticed when we landed in that thing, when it's a tail dragger, so when you land and the tail hits, you can't see where you're going.
Well, you can keep the tail up and still see where you're going, but the thing about it is that tail really wants to swing. So it's keeping it centered until it's done is the trick.
That's
So
awesome.
I get a lot of touchdowns where people go, wow, that was a nice landing, and I say, just be quiet, we're not done yet.
Yeah.
It's 3 or 4 seconds
That's
later
awesome.
where she'll swap ends on you.
So if you've ever looked up in the sky above the island and seen a yellow biplane flying by, that's the
Yeah,
plane
yellow and
Jason's
blue.
talking about.
Thank you
Well,
so
it
much.
sounds like a-
MustangIslandair.com.
Sounds like flying. That's just a big kind of. It's a nice kind of free experience. You get to be out in the open air. And speaking of freedom, we've got our friends with American Legion Post 229. You guys are setting up flags for freedom, right? That's your new big project?
Yes, sir. We're planning on putting 250 for the 250th birthday. And so we're just looking for sponsorships for different levels. We have 3 different levels. The 150 gets you a flag, a certificate with your name in that. The other one gets a flag in a case in a certificate. And then the really unique one is the 250th Betsy Ross flag. It's an awesome looking flag in a case and a certificate for it. But we're planning on putting 250 out here on Park Road 22. That's the plan from the 1st to the 7th.
Are you going to install them yourself?
Yes, sir.
So you're going to go down the road with a bucket full of flags, sticking them in the ground?
Yes, sir.
Well, make sure you call me for a photo op when you're out here. So we probably need an EMS unit out there just in case.
I was
right?
going to say, you'll see a bunch of us out there sweating, so it's not an easy process.
How long has the American Legion Post here been going, for those who don't know?
We've been in existence for about 4 years. We're new on the post. We don't have a building just yet. We meet the second Wednesday of the month at, right now, the Wyndham. And so we have a meeting at 6, a little happy hour type deal, and then 7 starts the meeting. And it's a really good crowd. We've been doing a lot for the island, and this is in conjunction with Island Pride, the ladies that really help out on the island and do a lot of stuff. So they're going to get some of the benefits that we have when we sell this too, so that they can do more projects on the island and make it beautiful.
To be a member of American Legion, you just have to be in the military? What's the rule on that? I don't know.
Yes, there's
I was a draft dodger.
there's certain dates and times that you can be. Pretty much everybody in today time is all eligible for as a veteran and to be a member of the American Legion. You just have to have served.
I got you.
And then and if we're just agreed to start a auxiliary, and we also are going to do the youth one. And so we just agreed upon that. That one there, you have to be a son of. It's a Sons of their Legion,
Gotcha.
a son of somebody who's a veteran and whatever, and they can become a member of that.
Awesome. And how do people reach out to you if they're interested in sponsoring this or being a part?
We have some flyers that are out and about, but the basic numbers that you're going to want is Debbie, and she's at 210-833-7307. And also Stephen Armstrong, it's at 361-655-3021. And you can go on our Legion, American Legion, it's post229.org.
Okay.
That's it, post229.org, and that information will be on there also. And
So this will be out July 4th, so we'll
For
be,
sure.
you can have flags out, and then we'll have the Island Blast.
yes,
The 4th of July is on Saturday this year.
yep.
Yes. And it's a grand celebration. 250 years.
Yes, 250. We're looking for a big celebration at the Blast. You know, we do that out there at the island.
Sure.
At the yacht club. And so that's always a big thing. So this will really push it over the hill, putting 250 flags out there. And we look for sponsorship. And anybody that's got an empty lot that wants to have American Legion built on it, let us know.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. We're going to take a quick break here on Island Moon Live. Everybody hold fast. We will return.
Texas river girl. On the day that she was shaved, the artist wrote a note.
The other page has some pretty easy ones to scan and do. But thank you.
I think
they got to keep making
Were you-
payments to me for the next 5 years.
that fight is over. I think
It's
now
been over for a long time. That's why we'll bring it up.
Yeah.
I don't want the new people to have any trouble.
I think they're. That was you know the origin of that, and
Yeah, they
that was one guy.
and he's still around.
Yeah.
But no, I don't want. They it's a lease to own deal. They made a nice down payment for the airplanes, but
Where are they from?
all over San Antonio, Lexington, Houston, just a
A
conglomerate
group of guys,
people,
conglomerate. Yeah.
you know, got together that they want to do it.
Adrenaline junkies.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but when you got to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to.
My 17-year-old daughter, we're in Namibia, and we're in the Namib Desert, and there was a jumping operation in the middle of nowhere up there. She said, Dad, I want to do that. Will you do it with me? I said, sure. But you have to tell them you're 18 years old. And so she did it. It was pretty cool.
Good. Well, thank you. I didn't.
When
I didn't
when you
expect that
bailing
much
out?
time.
Anything else you
Probably
need?
in the next
Yeah,
week.
man.
Good?
Awesome. Yeah.
Got a
Thank
horse
you.
trailer. That's
Yeah, and we'll
about to
keep
start
we'll
loading
keep
boxes.
advertising and keep pushing, getting everything
Sounds
out.
like a laugh a minute.
You guys have a great day.
Fun. All right, Jace,
Robert, good to see you, buddy.
you ready to rock?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What all?
I'll be in touch. We'll see you. We'll see you before you go.
We can start with
get together.
Nurdles and go from there. Okay.
Yeah, I might start it with you.
One up.
Yeah.
This.
It's a one-seater, one-seat. Yes, sir. I got to be over at Port Ranch till noon Saturday. Anyway, y'all be talking pigs. I can't. Well, I'm not going to go sit out there. I said, are we talking pigs?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
After the Nurdles.
Exactly. Segment 2, 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, better weather.
Did you guys wish Butch a happy birthday?
Was it Butch's birthday?
It was Butch's birthday.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Hey, Jason, catching a little buddy. Be good, man.
How you doing, Brian?
But what it said was Port Aransas strong. Port Aransas strong. Port Aransas strong. Talking about that.
And we continue on Island Moon Live. We are here at our beautiful Docks Waterline studio. Last week we were up in Port Aransas, hanging out on the third floor of the Sip Yard, and man, it was awesome. That was a great time, a great view with a bunch of good people. You can go back and watch that video on Island Moon Live on YouTube. Just go to the live broadcasts, and you can see all of our recordings and get to understand how a proper radio show is made. Captain Robert Peruski, Dale Rankin, Jace Tunnel, Dr. Brian Gully, and my name is Jacob Boggs. There is a lot to get to. Jace, I know we're trying to get you on for potentially next week, or you're going somewhere with the Nerdle Patrol. What do you have going with that?
Yeah, Rutgers University.
Nice.
They got a grant. They have an undergraduate program there, and so they're going to be able to fly me out there, and they want me to do a Nerdle workshop. So I'll give a presentation the first day, and the next day we're going on the Sandy Hook. And they've got like 4 different areas that they've got set out that they want data from. So we're going to take all the students out there and see what we can find.
Oh, that'll be cool. So, and for people who are unaware what a Nerdle is, it's not a Muppet character. They're actually the small little bits of plastic that basically they use to make up every piece of plastic you use, from microphone stands to headphones to medical gear. How does this? Where do they fit in the process of manufacturing?
Yeah, so you think about, you go into like HEB or something like that, and everything is wrapped in plastic. It all first starts out as a small plastic pellet. So it's basically the raw material to everything made of plastic.
Yeah.
And
Then
so
a few of them escape. They have an escape plan.
Yeah, well, they're hard to contain because they're so small. And so if it's windy, whenever they're onloading them or offloading them, to how they're going to ship them out through rail, car, or actually shipping, the wind can get them. If it rains, it gets into the storm water, then it washes down the rivers, and then, everything leads to the ocean, then it washes back up on our beach here.
I went to a beach cleanup on the North Jetty in Port Aransas a few weeks ago. I didn't see any nurdles, but I saw about 25 million plastic water bottles.
Oh, yeah. Was that the one with Surfrider Foundation?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the
And
photos of that.
We picked up enough to fill up the ferry boat completely up, and we didn't even make a dent. Anytime somebody drops a plastic bottle into Lake Texoma in Oklahoma, it ends up on the North Jetty in Port Aransas.
That's what I tell people, because on our beaches here, we actually have 10 times the amount of marine debris washing up than anywhere else in the Gulf, and it has to do with the ocean currents and how they work and pushing stuff up to the Texas coast. But so if people come here and they're like, "Man, why we got all this trash on the beach?" Well, the majority of that's coming from other countries. It could be coming from anywhere in the world.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm on the beach all the time doing beach surveys and stuff, and I'm. A couple weeks ago, I found what's called a fish aggregating device. It looks like a tabletop.
I saw
but
that.
It has a beacon on it, and those things come from West Africa. So if that
Really?
tells you anything, yeah.
Well, and in your article, if you want to read Jace's latest article, just go to islandmoon.com. And you can get there. You're talking about blister pod sea beans.
That sounds painful.
And those have taken the trip from South America up here, right?
Right, yeah, they're found in the Amazon, on trees in the Amazon, and they fall off. It rains, it gets into the Amazon River, washes out to the Atlantic Ocean. Then those currents bring it up into the Caribbean, ultimately to the loop current in the Gulf, and then pushes up towards the Texas coast.
So in your position, you're director of community engagement, which is an interesting job, or interesting way of saying you have one of the coolest jobs in marine biology, is helping and educating people as to the environment around them. Especially for locals and people that grow up here. Maybe you're a beach person, maybe you're not, but we're all kind of affected by this ecosystem, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, we talk everything from because a lot of people are like naturalists. And so they like to go out and they're like, I just want to hear about the shells and the sea beans. Yeah, we talk about that. But, we'll find a boat washed up, and so we'll get on that. We find illegal fishing gear. We'll talk about that. So
You've got a big collection of messages in a bottle.
yeah, I found over 60 messages in a bottle over the years, and they all have stories. Sometimes they come with money in the bottles.
So tell people the story of why they have money in the bottle.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be old school communication, and you're not supposed to put your email or your phone number. You're supposed to put your home address, and you're supposed to put 2 main things: the date and the location you threw it in at. So at least we have some sort of data with it.
Well, and that way we can prosecute you for littering.
Yeah.
And we know where you live. So guess who's wrong now?
Right, exactly.
No.
And I've got a
That
story
is
about
funny.
that too, where I found a bottle that was it was actually in a plastic bottle, and it had, if you find this bottle, email me. So I emailed the guy, and he said, okay, where was the location and all that, and I told him. And he said, okay, well, I threw that particular bottle, and there was a number on there. It was 27,700 and something. And so I told him, the number he had, and he's like, okay, I threw this in Florida when I was on vacation. I'm from Canada. That number, that 27,000, that was the number of bottles he had thrown in. And he had he had books and books of these, of where they threw them in and who got back to him. So he asked me, I'll write a note, write a letter of where you found it and throw it back in. And I said, no way. I said, I'm turning you in. I was like, how much is, it's $500 a fine,
You need counseling. You need counseling. Well, is there a place, you're out on the beach all the time, where's the best place around here to go looking for seashells?
Oh, seashells by far, the Padre Island National Seashore.
Any particular part?
Oh, yeah. So you get to around 17 miles down, you start getting into little shell. Past that is what's called big shell. Of course, the last time I was down there about a month and a half ago, big shell was at mile marker 55.
It's migrated south.
Really?
When you get to mile marker 55, you are driving on full-size shells that are about 3 foot deep for about a quarter mile. Now, back in the 80s and 90s when we used to go down there, it was around 22, 23 miles down or something, and it was like that.
Right.
And I hadn't seen it like that in a long time until this year.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's thick.
So it's more shells and it's migrating south.
Yeah, and I mean, it could move north, it could move south. These storms we get really move them around.
How far down did you go? I think we had a few people on the show a couple weeks ago. They were talking about, I know they finished the dredging, or are they done with the dredging at Mansfield, and is it open all the way to the channel?
That's what I heard. I heard it's open all the way now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever find any artifact Spanish coins or anything like that?
No, I only heard stories.
Yeah.
Yes, not me. This guy I know
Right.
from Canada. Who
Well,
threw bottles.
I talked to a guy here on the island recently a couple of times. They're doing a reality show. They're down here doing treasure hunting stuff, and they found some stuff in some rather surprising places where there's a lot of people milling around. So there's still some boats down there that we haven't dug up yet, I guess, because they're still finding stuff.
There's one for sure that still never has been salvaged.
Do we know where it is?
I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Brian
Gene
does.
French and I looked for
Yeah.
it for a long time with a magnetometer, and we found the signature of it. Let's put it that when you start getting a bunch of deep iron bumps, you're probably there.
Huh.
One here and there could be anything, an old shrimp boat
Sure,
or whatever, but you're looking for cannons and anchors and stuff.
Right.
But it's illegal to molest it anyway.
Right.
Believe me, I thought about it many years ago.
I think Gene French probably did too.
Oh no, his life was wrapped around stuff like that. Gene's was.
He never found the big one though.
No, but his Jason's dad, Wes, I actually studied under him in 1973. It was A&I Corpus Christi at that time, and we traded a lot of stories about that island down in, because I'd been going down there before he went down there the first time, in Isla de Enmedia in Mexico, out of Veracruz, and he was a mollusk guy, right? And if you talk about big shell and those big chunks of shells, that's what it is, those big bivalves that are broken up. And that's what makes that. So somewhere offshore there must be a lot of those mollusks out there.
What about sand dollars, Jace? Is there when I've always wondered, everybody likes finding a sand dollar. Are they seasonal?
They're always out there, but they like to concentrate where there's food and the sediment is right for them. So they'll be in patches. So because people will say, well, when I was a kid, I used to go out at this location and I would find lots of them, and they're not there anymore.
Right.
Well, they might have moved.
Yeah, they moved.
Maybe their food moved around. But we tend to find a lot of, like yesterday, I found quite a few of them. But whenever you find big pockets of them, of dead ones, is usually around January, February, March time frame.
Okay.
Whenever you get those storms coming in, the tides go way out. The sand dollars, they can't make it out there. They've been churned up and they're upside down. Within a few days, they lose all their spines, and they after a few weeks they just turn bright white.
What does a sand dollar eat?
Just bacteria and microorganisms.
I
within
never
the
saw
sand.
one eat
Yeah.
anything. So
Yeah.
Well, they have really small forks. It's just hard to see.
Yeah, they got no
Excellent.
mouths.
Jace, thanks again for jumping in and joining us. Jace Tunnell, Director of Community Engagement for the Heart Research Center. And we will have you back on the show, not next week, but curious about getting the update from Jersey and seeing all the progress on the Nerdle Patrol. We're going to have some more of Island Moon Live coming at you in a little bit. Everybody hold fast.
Cause nothing good ever happens on TV. We'll meet on Soapback Beach to hang out with the bums. No need to wait until the weekend comes around.
If we go, if I take groups out there, because sometimes industry will say, hey, we'll give you some money if you take us out there or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I take her with me out there, but I take an e-bike.
Yeah.
And it's hard to manage because it's like 75 pounds. Then you have the saddlebags on there, and you have to have all the equipment to change the tires.
It's been on my list of things to do is go get a e-bike in Port A and run up San Jose.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for the last 2 summers.
Hovercrafts one time. I had a little hovercraft.
Really?
And I ran across there and got on the backside of the island and hopped over the dunes.
What?
It ran the water, ran right at the edge of the water, and totally circumnavigated St. Joe Island.
Really?
Wow. And it runs like the wind, just right down that wet part of the beach.
Yeah.
It's 20 miles long or something, isn't it?
21.
18 or is it 18?
21 miles. I did it yesterday.
Really?
How about
42
that?
miles round trip.
Have you ever been in the house out there?
No, I've been on there, around the house and all the cottages and all that. We used to keep a UTV over there whenever we had some.
I shot it with Jason Towns, flew me out there
Uh-huh.
in his plane so I could shoot pictures of it.
You
We
went inside?
Didn't get in the house. No, I called a friend of mine that was friends of the Bass family in Fort Worth that I knew, and he gave me a contact point, and I emailed them and said I'd like to go do a tour of the house. And they wrote me back and said, we don't know who you are. Never contact us again.
Yeah,
They're real private.
They are. And if they catch you on that beach, they act like you just trespassed on their front yard.
Well, they predate the Open Beaches Act. Sid Richardson bought.
That's how they have the.
Sid
all the fences
Richardson
going?
bought
Okay.
that island in 1938, and the Open Beaches Act wasn't until Babe Swartz in 57 or 59, so they could close that whole thing off
Yeah.
if they wanted.
so
to.
How are you doing on time, Jace? Do you have to take off or
No, I can stick around if
you
you
stick
want.
around? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we had that discussion. Do you really want to fight me over this and stir up something that you don't want to, or just let me pass? I'm looking for something. We had a boat sinking. I was looking for something that washed up.
Right.
So I'm staying right on the beach, not going on anywhere
Right.
else.
I got in a special agreement with them. You never see me mention San Jose.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
matter what.
They don't-
Because
they
they
don't
almost
wanna-
kicked me off one time when we found like 11 pelicans that had been shot.
Oh no.
Parks and Wildlife, and they said, "Don't. If you find a dead body, which I have, they said, do not ever call anybody except us. We'll take care of it."
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Or you'll be next.
Pretty well, yeah.
They'll take you to
All right.
Charlie Zahn tells a story about out there fishing, and all of a sudden he was surrounded by guys with M16s.
Oh yeah. Oh, he used to tell me he would take a regular bike up there, a regular bike all the way up, and I was like, wow.
That's pretty ready. All right. Segment 3, 11 minutes. Ready to light this candle? And we're back on Island Moon Live on a beautiful Island Moon Thursday from our Docks Waterline Studios. We talk about everything going on in Port Aransas, Corpus Christi, Padre Island, Flower Bluff, and the Coastal Bend. With me, as always, Dale Rankin. We've got Captain Rob Prusky, Jace Tunnel, and Dr. Brian Gully at the table. So before we were talking about, last time we were talking about nurdles, we were talking about kind of beach combing and other kind of fun stuff that you're into. Jace, you got any other big projects or anything coming up?
Yeah, so actually this morning I was at the Texas State Aquarium. They have a sea camp for kids, and so we went out there and we did nurdle surveys right at the base of the Lexington. And out of 13 campers, we found 60 nurdles.
Oh, wow.
Right at the base down there. So, how do you think those are coming in there? It's probably through the passes.
Yep.
During storms and stuff.
Yeah. So, and each nurdle has its own particular signature, and they're different colors and sizes, right? They're like
Different-
little
yeah.
half grains of rice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not
Different
very
shapes,
large,
sizes,
but-
all that.
So,
yeah.
and you've been able to tie some of the designs and the colors to certain plants, right?
No, that's
Or-
all proprietary. So
Okay,
only
so they
the
don't-
company could take it and tell you, but
They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so here's a big thing, and this is a video that's coming out in about a week and a half. Is I went up the Victoria Barge Canal, and I found the most nurdles I'd ever found in my life. 320,000 nurdles. I filled up a 5-gallon bucket in just 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
You're getting close to the mother lode.
This is beyond anything I've ever seen before. And it was like, I don't know, 100 yards down that you could just see. It was like 3 inches thick along the bank. And then you'd go 20 feet into the brush, and it would just be layered thick in there. So something's been going on for decades in the Victoria Barge Canal.
Yeah.
And so all that stuff's going to be coming out.
So that's being put there by the currents over time.
No. The current basically goes one way in the Barge Canal, and it's
So that's been put in there by somebody that's making nurdles.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's a couple of different plastics companies along there, and I'm not gonna say who, but you do put the dots together.
you ever think about putting one in a slingshot and shooting them back at the factory?
My deal is at the Hart Research Institute, we just collect the data, and if you go to the map and you see where the highest concentrations are and stuff, there's actually a little button on there. You can download it all too. So there's a bunch of nonprofits that are using this information, try to figure out where it's coming from, and they'll actually do legal. They use the data for legal issues. So
what size are they? What average size?
they're the size of a lentil, so real small, and so less than 5 millimeters. I mean,
like a elongated BB.
Yeah, a BB. That's a perfect way to be able to. The size is just like that.
But they're more oval shaped. I do now that since I've gotten to know you, I don't do a formal survey, but when I go to the beach, I go up to the high tide line and I look. They're always there.
Always there.
It's pretty interesting. It's like studying graphic design or film. Once you really learn what's out there on the beach in your ecosystem, you're never going to be able to look at the beach the same way again.
Right. Well, and people say, because we've been doing the project since we started in 2018, so 8 years now. People are like, are you seeing a difference? Is it getting better? I'm like, well, these things last 200 to 400 years.
Yeah,
so
that's job security.
Yeah, that's right.
They can make them faster than you can pick them up.
Yeah.
What color?
They're all different colors. Most of them are opaque, kind of clear looking. Whenever the sun, they're a resin, so whenever the sun gets to them, like your surfboard, it starts turning yellow. So you can kind of age them by that too. The older ones.
Are you
will be
making
yellow.
any headway at the source at stopping them from being released into the ecosystem?
I think we are. We've got some real good relationships with some plastics industries, and they're using the information that the citizen scientists are going out and doing to say, look, these are the areas we have problems. This is where we need to make changes. And there's actually some other states that have changed policy in their permitting that these companies have to get. And so,
and you're not necessarily, you're helping, I guess, how's the right way to say this? You're helping industry be accountable for kind of things that happen under their watch. And your work and the work of all these citizen scientists has changed some of the policies of these big corporations in order to become more, eco-friendly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's something called Operation Clean Sweep. The Plastics Industry Association started that up back in the early 90s. I'm actually going to their international conference in Houston in October, and I'm going to be presenting up there, and we're having a fireside chat where they ask me questions and stuff. So we're hoping to get the Nurdle Patrol methodology used within the industry to kind of be a standard to help them figure out if they've got a problem on their site.
Yeah.
And so it's not like we're some crazy environmentalists out there. We want to work with industry too. The ultimate goal is just to reduce the amount of plastic reaching the ocean because we know there's real impact.
Well, it seems like it would be shrinkage to them. They don't want to. They're not making plastic to leak it out of the system.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's a win-win for everybody. They're not losing their product, and it's not getting in the environment.
And you've got good examples of industry and industrial partners that have been great stewards of the environment and helping out and really holding a really high standard for plastics production around here in our own backyard.
Oh, yeah. Over in Portland, just right here, we have Gulf Coast Growth Ventures. I have been outside of their fence line multiple times and never found one pellet. And that's rare because I've done surveys up and down the coast and in different states and always find nurdles outside the fence line. So the fact that they have never released any, of course, they're a newer facility. They have all the kind of gold standard best practices in place, but we can point to them if anyone ever says, "Oh, zero plastic pellet loss isn't possible." We point to them and say, "Yes, it is." There's a group.
So you can design for it.
Right, you can design for it. Although some of these older facilities that didn't design for it, it's going to take millions and millions of dollars to be able to retrofit, but it can be done.
So they're looking at the cost of the shrinkage. How many dollars do we lose by letting these things leak out versus the cost it takes to fix it? And that's their business decision.
Well, no, I think a lot of them, if they know they're losing it, they're trying to fix the problem. So there's some simple things they can do that don't cost millions of dollars. Some things is like putting a tub underneath the rail car whenever they're sampling the nurdles,
Right.
and it catches them versus going out on the ground and then the wind and rain get
Right.
it.
Well, technically, it's kind of a TCEQ deal. If they're discharging accidentally or whatever into the ocean, it's in violation of TCEQ. They don't have a discharge permit.
The issue,
they're not gonna get one.
Yeah. One of the
Right.
issues is the number of man hours it would take to be able to enforce everything, and
Right.
so TCQ doesn't have the manpower for that. So
Yeah.
that's where the citizen science comes in. So we're able to go out and highlight, say, hey, there could be a
So
problem.
the citizen scientists work through a common database and combine what they find?
So nurdlepatrol.org is the database, and so they go out, they do a 10-minute survey. Whether they find some or not, they put that into the reporting form, and it shows up on a map, and it's all downloadable. Now TCQ doesn't use that because they have to have their own people go out and do an investigation.
Right.
But it definitely shows where the hot spots are, and if you find a bunch of them, and you know it's coming from a facility, you can always put a complaint in to TCEQ, and they'll go out and do an unannounced inspection.
Wow,
And we've
okay.
done a lot of those.
Huh.
Well, we as the volunteers.
How long have you been doing this?
Since 2018, September 2018, when it all started at Bob Hall Pier out here.
Really?
Yeah, that's where the
remember,
first
yeah.
kind of spill was, where we figured out nobody's going to do anything about this plastic. We gotta go out and monitor it to see how far it spread and how long it'll be around.
So you first saw it at Bob Hall.
Right, yeah, it was all on the high tide line. I guess we had the perfect conditions. You know, we know now it wasn't a spill; it was just the perfect conditions to
It's getting them from all over the
getting
place.
them all over the place. Yeah, because
Are they heavier than water?
No.
No.
no, and they
Thank goodness, or you'd never be able to get them.
And that's a good point. There's a lot of different types of plastic. We find mainly about 80% polyethylene, the other 20% polypropylene. Now, if we go look on railroads, we'll find PVC, polystyrene, a bunch of the heavier ones. But if those get into the water, they're probably just sinking.
Huh.
So,
Do
yeah.
fish eat them?
Yes.
And
absolutely.
turtles?
And birds.
Yeah.
All of those. And so, I mean, and that there's been tons of data looking at animals eating these things. So we know there's an impact already, and that's why we're trying to do something about it.
Huh. So I wouldn't think it's good for them.
No, it's a couple things. They can twist around their intestines. They feel like they're full, so they starve to death. Or the pellets, when they're in there, they act like sponges, and they absorb harmful chemicals. So like DDT, PCBs, PAHs from your car. And so real high concentrations. And so if the animals are eating those, it can mess.
They can't
mess them up.
digest them because of blockage, and that'll kill them eventually. Also,
So all kinds of fish, all kinds of turtles, everything.
Yeah, every species of sea turtle has plastic in them. Whether the nurdles for sea turtles most likely just passes right through. Probably the same with birds. It's whenever the nurdles are in a really high concentration, they eat a bunch of them. That's when it causes problems. But one pellet here or there is probably not going to hurt.
You
them.
find them along fence lines.
Yeah.
those are the white ones.
It's hilarious. That and the creepy dolls.
Well, I was going to mention. So this week was real interesting on my beach survey. This was yesterday. Found 18 what we call sea pigs. They're actually piggy banks.
Yeah.
18 of them.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a high country. What's a
that's
whole
the-
sounder of beach pigs?
It's crazy because people have been emailing me actually all this week. They're all, oh, I found 2 in Alabama. They're all, I'm on St. Croix. I found one here. So from all over the place. But finding 18 in a 7-hour period, that's how long it took me yesterday. The other thing is I found a shark that we don't normally see that had washed up dead. It was a sand tiger shark.
Interesting.
They have some at the aquarium. It's got like 2 dorsal fins.
A young sand tiger?
It was like 7 foot.
Oh, it's a big one.
It was a big one.
So they used to be very common in the bay at a certain time when they would come in either spawning or I think they were feeding on stingrays at a certain time. And Indian Point Pier, they used to catch them back in the 60s.
Really?
And they would fish, the shark fishermen would fish on that pier just to catch sand tigers. The very first shark I caught 207 sharks over 7 feet long. In my
That's actually
early
pretty
days,
interesting. Dr. Gully, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about species that you don't find around Corpus Christi anymore. Quick commercial break. Everybody hold fast.
Indian Point Pier when I was a kid.
So yesterday
There's an oyster bed out there, or there was.
When I was coming back, and he was cutting out the backbone and getting samples and all this stuff to confirm. I mean, it was definitely what it was. But
that double dorsal,
yeah, the double dorsal.
Got the king filling back, no problems, and so it looks like
The last recorded one caught here was
talked to the Whitecap guys this week. They're trying.
Their big event all week.
Yeah, I went to the kickoff Tuesday, and they got a slip for us. We just got to get the canals open.
Yeah, they got to get their little thing finished up.
He said we come by and tell them if we have a preference where we want to slip.
Okay.
Let them know
I saw
that.
them pouring concrete over there this morning.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get it open sometime this summer. So it looks like an anthill over there. I looked across from my office, and there's people everywhere over there.
Well, that's good.
And they're looking at putting a live music venue over there. They're going, you know.
What happened over here?
There's
All right.
paperwork.
That
But nothing.
was
It's all going to happen. It's just
3.
lawyers.
All right, one last segment, 9 minutes.
All right. What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's talk some boats.
Okay.
The thing did not smell good.
Still sitting on Bob Hope Pier and nursing this lukewarm beer.
Back for one more shot at the title here on Island Moon Live. Got a great slate of guests joining Dale Rankin and I, Captain Robert Pruski, Jace Tunnel, Dr. Brian Gully, and we are kind of rocking on. Just before the break, Doc, you were talking about a sand tiger shark, and I wanted to run through some of the species that we used to catch a lot of down here that we don't see anymore. I know tarpon are kind of the easiest. You know, Port Aransas was initially called Tarpon, Texas, right? And we used to have sawtooth.
Sawfish. Yeah, the giant sawfish.
What else is on the list of things we used to get down here, but through manipulation, migration, and time, what all is
the
gone?
Sand tigers, we don't seem to catch as many lemon sharks. In '69, I think I caught a lemon shark. Didn't catch another one for 40 years.
Okay.
But kind of quit fishing for them after 20 or so. But
you'd think with the amount of shark fishermen active down here right now, there would be some lemons in bycatch and stuff, right?
Things change. And so now what we have is a whole lot of sandbar sharks. Right?
Yep.
And they're filthy out there. Now, interesting, they say they're endangered and you can't catch one and keep it. But, I mean, they're coming up and taking our fish off the spears, and they've got – I used to see them every once in a while, and I'd go out and taunt them with a fish. Hey, get close enough, see what happens. You know?
Yeah.
And I couldn't even get them to come close enough. And now they're coming up and taking it off. There's just so many.
And I know there are places in the Caribbean, for example, that are fighting lionfish populations.
Sure.
And one of the things that divers have done was try and train sharks and jewfish, and grouper to basically eat the. We're joined by some seagull friends in here.
Seagull party.
One of them has a French fry. The others are jealous. But they train them. The lionfish will turn around backwards to any critter that's trying to get them, so the spines will get them. But what they would do is spear them, and fish learn to jump around and eat them. They thought that was a good thing, but the problem is now they associate divers with food. So they see a spear gun or a Hawaiian sling.
They follow you around. The nurse sharks, it's real bad, and I've had them take them right off my spear and just hand them to them. Here, take it off the spear, and I'll go get another one. But the nurse sharks will come and take them off your spear and crunch them up. They don't care. And the barracuda, I've had barracuda come up, and you see the trailing fins coming out of their gills as they're chomping them. And they, these fish like redfish and barracuda especially, they have other sets of teeth back behind in their throat, and they're crushing this up. Huh. The grouper will eat them, just eat anything,
Have we seen any?
Even you?
They have been found here. There has been
lionfish.
There has been one in Packery Channel a year or two ago. I remember.
Really?
They're once they got through, I guess, the Panama Canal.
They're highly
there's-
invasive.
they-
They're all
yeah,
over. Yeah.
yeah. They're beautiful fish.
Yeah.
I've seen them brown. I've speared them. They're
and
different
I've-
colors,
But
mostly
they're invasive, right?
Bright red.
Yeah, I've heard the numbers, and some on some reefs in the Caribbean, they come in and eat all the small reef fish, and they've eaten between 70 and 80% of a lot of the population of these little reef fish.
Wow.
And all you need is 2 lionfish, and then all of a sudden, broop, there you go.
Well, they're awfully beautiful, but they're really nasty.
Yeah, and they've got-
I just feed them to other fish. Now
they've got
people eat them.
13
And they're good to eat,
yeah,
but who wants to clean a fish that's that poisonous?
There's
you know?
13 spines on there that can get you, and that stuff is pretty nasty. And now I don't know how they rank up with the smooth pufferfish. I know we've been catching smooth pufferfish down here in the surf for about the past 4 or 5 years. We've seen a big increase in those, and the Japanese like them because there's so many toxins in the skin and in the gallbladder
Right.
has a poison that's like 100 times worse than cyanide or something bad like that. And so what they'll do, the Japanese would fillet them a certain way and eat them, and as your mouth would go numb when you're eating the fish, which is it's highly. I don't
We
think
don't
the
eat one of
FDA
those.
really looks over that with a big
I would
smile.
just
but-
eat one of those, and that'd be enough of that.
I'm out of that.
Well, Robert, we saw you go by earlier this morning on the Packery Queen.
Yeah. Yep. We're doing that maintenance. It's every 100 hours we got to do
Running
that
out
on
of
the
the
boat.
old Packery. So what are the water conditions like right now?
This morning I left the dock about 6:30 this morning, and we had almost a southwest wind blowing. It was very weird.
Interesting.
And so it was nice and kind of cool. But it's been beautiful on the water. Captain Jeff's been running this last week. He's doing a great job, like he always does. And but yeah, it's a great season. It's what is today, the 10th or 11th?
11th.
11th, and man, we are like swamped since Memorial
Well,
Day.
that's good.
Yeah. So-
Excellent.
We've been running this, our third year for the Packery Queen summer?
Oh
Second
man,
or third?
I think it's our fourth season.
Time flies
I
when you're
think.
having
I don't know.
fun.
I got to think how old I
We've
am.
been running out of the
Yeah.
old Packery Bar and Grill, and it's now the ex-Packery Bar and
Yep.
Grill, but we're still running.
We're
the
still
boat
there.
out
We
of
put up a new sign up there last week, and the customers are still coming, and they're finding us online at PadreBoatTours.com.
And hopefully maybe this summer, but hopefully by next, we'll have the canals open and we can make the grand tour.
You can do the
all
loop.
the way through do
Yeah.
the loop.
I feel like we've been talking about this for like
Yeah,
5
I know.
or 10 years.
Well, you were able to complete the loop before.
I did. I did the loop for like 3 or 4 months from March through. It was July 4th weekend, and they closed it down, and it was great. We had a good time. We're the only tour boat that's allowed to do that. That's able to do it. So it
Get
was
under the
really
bridges.
fun because the guests, they come down here and you see a dolphin, but you can go on the ferry and see a dolphin, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But they want to go out and see number one,
Yeah.
Brian Gully's beautiful home.
And
They like to see the houses.
The
Yeah,
sunset tours are awesome.
The
If you've got a
sunsets.
group or a party and you
Yeah,
want to brag
abs-
to some of your cousins or people in from out of town, that's the way to do it.
Absolutely,
people-
we've done lots of engagements. This guy calls in and he goes, "Okay, I'm gonna get on one knee and do this right when the sun sets, but you got to be all cool and collective and play this song." And I'm like, "Okay, Captain, can you do this all at one time while keeping everybody safe?" Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I tell people all the time, you come down here, you drive around on the island, it's a completely different place from the water side.
yeah.
You don't see, our front yard is our backyard, and you don't see that driving around on
Oh, I
fingertips.
know. I'm just once it's open, like we can go through the neighborhood. You still get to see the dolphin out there because they're here all the time. They're either, I mean, we all see them in our backyards, right?
Yeah.
They're there all the time. But we're gonna go through there, and you get to see, Kim Irwin's beautiful house and all these beautiful houses and beautiful boats that are tied up behind people's houses that you don't see when you're driving down Park Road 22 or even
Yeah.
driving down Whitecap. It's hard
Well,
to
that's
see
the
them.
thing. I had a friend come in from out of town a few years ago, and they were like, "Man, no one here does their Christmas lights really that big." And I was like, "Well, because they're on the other side of the house."
Yeah, the back of the house is decorated, the boat's decorated,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
so
and
the back of the house is the front of the house.
I've got to be careful with how much time I spend around you because you work in the industries of a few of my vices between boats and beer. So Lauren will only let me hang out with Rob so much.
I know.
But
I'm
we
a bad
You've
influence.
also got a bunch of good stuff going
You're
on.
moving the beer
at Beach
operation,
Ball
right?
Brewing.
We are moving the beer operation. That's we're going to be at 1101 Laguna Shores, the old Fisherman's Bait
That's
House.
that blue,
It
blue
is, yeah.
building right
So
next
yeah,
to
we've
the
been
Wind Wave, yeah.
we've been putting all kinds of beautiful stuff over there. It's going to be nice. Just stay tuned. We're going to be open in July. That's going to be really really fun. Just
It's a great spot. You
right
do a
on the
bar.
water. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
That's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a bunch of that going on. What new beers do you have for people to try?
Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot. I wasn't ready for that. I was talking boats this morning. We have the Amarillo by Morning, which is, you can go ahead and sue me, George Strait, if you want. It's Amarillo hops.
He didn't write it.
I know, but I still want a letter from him.
Exactly, it still counts.
It still counts. We have that.
Jansky.
We brewed the Captain Ron coming out. Come on, Kurt Russell. Anyways, the Captain Ron is a tropical pale ale that's coming. We have Laguna Bock, which is a great sweet Bock coming out, or it's actually out already. And then all our regulars. Thank God it's Padre Strawberry Blonde is still on tap, and we're gonna have a Honey Blonde that we're coming out in August. So really excited.
So
for
you're
that
going to
one.
put a bar in there where people could go in there and sample the product?
We already have that on Waldron, but yeah, the new one will be air conditioned.
We have the technology.
Yeah.
You're going to be right next to Wind and Wave.
We were talking earlier about us being neighbors, and yeah, we're excited for that. We're going to fix up the city's beautiful parking lot there also, so that we're not parking in potholes.
Speaking of Wind and Wave, not this weekend, but next Father's Day weekend, they'll be doing the kayak demo off
10 to
of
4.
361. I wanted to say a quick thank you to all of our friends who joined us for the show today. Jeff Coim, Jay Gardner, Dr. Brian Gully, Jace Tunnel, Captain Rob Pruski, Jason Towns, our friends at American Legion Post 229, Ricky Daly from TechStot.
Yeah.
Dale Rankin.
We got a tablet from Ricky.
And happy birthday, Butch.
Happy birthday, Butch. Yes, my name is Jacob Boggs. This has been Island Moon Live. We're going to turn this back over on 1440 KEYS Corpus Christi, 98.7 FM. Everybody keep it on Island Time.
Landed here. Someone pinch me, I'm dreaming. Just take SPID to the JFK. Set your GPS and you'll know the way. Get on Island Time and get in line to say, thank God it's Padre. Thank God it's Padre.
It's hard to sell stuff over there. Or you do.
And they've already postponed the boat storage if they haven't killed it. I don't know where that's landed.
So they're going to have to get that plug out, and they're going to have to dredge.
It's so simple in at the bridge. It's crazy. I mean, unless they open it up and blows it out, but I don't think it's gonna blow it out. It's got a sandbar on the right hand side that's just steadily building. So
Tim said that